My people, this one where they happen now for Abuja go, make you hold your breath small, because it don't be like say the long silence around Nnamdi Kanu, matter don't finally break. Yes, you heard me right. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has just stormed the Federal High Court today, and from all indications, something big is about to go down. Reports reaching us show that Kanu is set to file some fresh legal processes against the Department of State Services, DSS, as the pressure from both local and international communities seems to be hitting hard. For months now, there have been serious talks around his detention, the health condition issue, and the continuous demand for his release. But today's move seems like a major turn in this whole legal drama that has been dragging for years. You know how Nigerians are? Once they heard Nnamdi Kanu storms court, everywhere don't begin buzz. Social media is already on fire. People are talking left, right, and center, asking, is DSS finally bowing to pressure? Is this the beginning of Kanu's freedom? Or is it another long legal round? Now, from what we are hearing, DSS has reportedly succumbed to pressure from both the court orders and human rights advocates who have been calling for fair treatment and respect for due process. Remember, there was that series of court rulings in the past ordering his release, but DSS kept holding him. Well, today's appearance shows that something might be changing. But let's talk about what's really going on behind the scenes. Over the past few weeks, there's been increasing attention on Nigeria's justice system. People asking whether government agencies still respect court orders or not. And this particular case is like a test for the system. If DSS truly bows to pressure now, it will show that the rule of law is still alive, no matter how slow it looks. Please, if you're just joining us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, because we always bring you verified updates as they happen. Now back to Nnamdi Kanu. For those who may not fully understand the depth of this issue, Kanu has been in DSS custody since 2021 after he was arrested and brought back to Nigeria. Since then, his trial has gone through many twists and turns, appeals, and even Supreme Court mentions. Each time, supporters of IPOB and observers from around the world keep calling for his unconditional release, while government lawyers insist that he still has questions to answer over his activities. But today's event, him showing up in court personally, means something serious is unfolding. His legal team, according to insiders, is ready to file strong motions that may challenge not only his continued detention, but also how the DSS has handled his health and communication rights. And honestly, my people, the timing of all this no be small thing. Nigeria is currently facing tension in different parts of the country, from insecurity to economic hardship, and people are tired. So when news like this drops, emotions rise quickly. Some people see it as hope, others see it as political calculation. But here's what makes this whole situation even more interesting. DSS agreeing to comply or even softening its stance shows that external forces, maybe international bodies or political pressure, are beginning to influence how this case is being handled. Remember, there were calls from groups like Amnesty International and even members of the Nigerian Bar Association who demanded that due process must be followed. Let's be honest, whether you support Kanu or not, one thing is clear: this man's case has become a symbol of how justice works or doesn't work in Nigeria. It's now beyond politics. It's about fairness and rule of law. So, for DSS to allow him to come to court and file his own legal documents today, that's a big move. It means there might be some level of dialogue happening behind the curtains. Sources around the Federal High Court said security was tight as usual, but his supporters still managed to show up, waving flags and chanting slogans. Of course, they were peaceful, but Nigerians, emotions can easily rise when it comes to sensitive issues like this. Now, let's talk a bit about what these new court filings might mean. From early reports, it seems Kanu's lawyers are challenging not just his continuous detention, but also asking for proper medical attention and more humane conditions. If the court listens and DSS continues to comply, this might open the door for either a bail reconsideration or even a political negotiation in the coming months. And this brings me to one very important point. Nigeria is gradually entering another election cycle soon, and the Southeast region remains a hot topic politically. Many observers believe how the federal government handles Kanu's case could influence the tone of peace or unrest in that region. So, make no mistake, this isn't just a courtroom drama. It's something that could shape the political and security direction of Nigeria itself. As the court session was ongoing earlier today, our sources say Nnamdi Kanu appeared calm but very determined. He was dressed neatly as usual, and when he entered the courtroom, there was a brief moment of silence before people started whispering. Because it's been a long time since many have seen him physically in court. His presence alone carried weight. It wasn't just another legal sitting, it was a statement. Now, the motion his legal team plans to file reportedly centers on enforcing his fundamental human rights and seeking a declaration that his continued detention, despite previous court rulings, is unlawful. For those who remember, the Court of Appeal had once discharged and acquitted him, saying his extraordinary rendition from Kenya was illegal. But the Supreme Court later overturned that, saying he must still face trial. That's where the case has been stuck. So, what's new? Well, this time the lawyers are not just talking about freedom, they are talking about compliance and accountability, making DSS answer for how they've handled court orders. And from what's coming out, DSS may be under pressure to show the world that it is not above the law. Now, let's break that down small so everyone can understand. When DSS holds someone and refuses to obey a court order, it creates a big constitutional issue. It makes the judiciary look weak. That's why human rights lawyers and civil society groups have been pushing hard. They say if DSS can disobey a court order against one man, then nobody is safe. And that's part of what has brought us to today's turning point. From the look of things, the DSS seems to be softening. They allowed Kanu to have some level of access to his legal team, and now he's able to file motions personally, something that has been a struggle in past months. But make we talk true, this thing gets RCB politically too. Some people believe the federal government is trying to manage the situation carefully so that it doesn't escalate tension in the southeast. Because if they continue to hold Kanu without progress, it keeps fueling anger in the region. But if they release him or begin to show signs of compliance, it may calm things down a bit. However, it's not that simple. There are still cases tied to IPOB activities, and security agencies insist that they are looking at national stability. So the government is walking a fine line between justice and security. But the big question remains, can there really be peace without justice? Guys, before we move deeper, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. We are giving you these updates in real time, straight and simple, so that you stay informed. Now, let's go into the atmosphere outside the court. From eyewitness accounts, the environment was heavily guarded. Armed security officers were positioned at strategic points, and only those with proper clearance could go inside the courtroom. But outside, you could see groups of Kanu's supporters singing, waving Biafran flags, and chanting, "We want justice." Some were even praying loudly. But one thing worth noting is that everything stayed peaceful. No clash, no violence. And that's something many Nigerians have been asking for. Peaceful expression, not confrontation. Because truly, when issues like this get violent, it only complicates things. Now, something else people are talking about today is the possible reaction from political leaders in the Southeast. Many of them have been quiet, but you can tell that they are watching this development closely.
some might use this opportunity to call again for political dialogue because at this point, almost everyone agrees. This matter cannot be solved in court alone. It needs conversation, reconciliation, and political courage. And another angle that came up this afternoon, some human rights organizations are planning to file fresh petitions asking for better medical treatment for Kanu while in custody. They claim that his health has not been in good condition, though DSS has denied those allegations several times. But if the court gives a fresh order on that, DSS will have to comply this time around, since they are already under the spotlight. Now, let's reason together. You see, this whole Kanu story is more than just one man versus the government. It's about what kind of country we want to live in. Do we live in a country where the rule of law stands firm, or one where court orders are ignored depending on who is involved? Because if the system works for one person, it must work for everybody. That's why today's event is important. It's not just about IPOB or politics. It's a big test for Nigeria's democracy. Whether you agree with Kanu or not, you'll agree that justice delayed is justice denied. Now, what we're hearing from court reporters is that after the filings, the case will likely be adjourned for hearing very soon, maybe within the next 2 weeks. And that's when we'll begin to see whether the DSS will maintain this new cooperative attitude or if they will go back to their old ways. But I'll tell you, from the tone today, things seem to be shifting slowly. And if this continues, we might see some major decisions before the end of the year. Either the court will make another strong ruling, or there could even be an out-of-court negotiation. That's if both sides agree. And let's not forget the public. Nigerians are watching. The international community is watching. Even the African Union and ECOWAS observers have raised concerns in the past about prolonged detention without trial. So DSS is under both internal and external pressure. Before we round up this part, let me say this. Whatever happens next, Nigeria must learn from it. Because if justice can be done and seen to be done, people will begin to regain trust in the system. And trust, my people, is what holds a nation together. So as we await the next court sitting, we'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you every detail. Please make sure you hit that like button, drop your opinion in the comments section, and subscribe if you want to stay ahead of every new update on this case and other major happenings in Nigeria.